Welcome back and happy Tuesday. This week I have another great guest. We're going to do a little bit of a shift compared to normal. We're going to be going and talking about the state of health tech and healthcare. So with that, I have a longtime friend and I have not seen her in years. So I'm so excited to introduce you to Krista Berlincourt, who is CEO and founder of Kenshō Health. Krista, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Scarlett. It's so fun to reconnect.
Yeah, after all these years. Okay, so the first question is going to be somewhat of an obvious one, but you were such a powerhouse in fintech and financial services. Why healthcare? Why health tech? Why are you going into this space?
I think they're kind of the same. You know, when you look at, I suppose it's the stage. I didn't join a bank. I joined the first digital bank in the United States. And we thought, okay, banking's broken. The financial crisis is quite evident. Dodd-Frank was passed. There was regulatory environment that was ripe for disruption. And all you have to do is build a tech company where there's a wedge and you simply create a door. You pry it far enough apart. The thing that we did, I was brought in from Microsoft. I was in from the Microsoft Startup Business Unit, an emerging sector. Everyone on the team was not a banker. They were all just really intelligent, wicked smart technologists. So in the same way, right now, I think you'd be hard pressed to argue that there's a problem in America other than healthcare that might be bigger. And in the same way, because of that, solutions need to be made. And when we look at our healthcare environment, much like banking, healthcare isn't broken. It's not the healthcare workers, but our system isn't working. Our system has failed us in the same way that banking as a system had failed us. And what we've created with Kenshō is really mirroring much of the innovation that exists in the rest of the world, where when you look at Europe, 60% of healthcare spend is complementary and alternative medicine. That's a good thing because it proven based on science that if you take an integrative approach to health, people live longer, happier, healthier lives. Whereas in the United States, we spend $3.7 trillion a year on healthcare, but we have the worst outcomes. 87% of patients in the US die from lifestyle-related preventable diseases. Like we're dying and we're not doing anything about it. But what we know is that by creating a pathway for consumers to gain access to complementary and alternative medicine, by making it possible for insurance companies to cover things like acupuncture and chiropractic and functional medicine, naturopathy, you make it easier for people to live better. And we can actually decrease costs, improve patient outcomes, and help people live better lives. It's the same but different as banking.
Yeah, so I mean, you talked a lot about the state of healthcare in the US and you mentioned Europe. Is there other places in the world that are really kind of advanced from a perspective of the state of healthcare versus how things are here in the US?
Most of the world. In the US, one of the challenges that we have, I suppose I could talk about the rest of the world, but the US, primarily the challenges that we have private healthcare. And this isn't to say that I'm suggesting we should move to a socialized system. I don't have a political perspective there. But when you have private healthcare, the incentive, as we know, same issue with private banks, is to make the most money. And when you succeed, when your customers fail, you have an adversarial relationship. So the healthcare system patient relationship is adversarial. I'm guessing that anyone who's listening to this has felt that once before. You go into a hospital, something is needed, and suddenly the world becomes very opaque. Why don't I know how this works? Why don't I know how much it costs? Why don't I know what I need? Why don't I know what's next? For us as a business, we've sought to solve that by actually opening the doors and open sourcing research for the first time in history on holistic medicine through a unique partnership with Wiley, the world's largest and oldest researcher. It's really about putting the information in the hands of the consumer, which is the same that we did with Simple. And then you allow the consumer to really choose their own destiny.
Yeah, and I think the parallels there are so profound, and you talked about that place of being, well, I don't know what's next. I mean, the idea of financial health and physical health are so similar. They're kind of the two of the areas that people don't really talk about. They have a lot of maybe insecurities about it, and so instead of talking about it, instead of exploring, they kind of shut off. And there's a lot I think that can be done there to really help open that up. So this has been fascinating. Anything else that you want the audience to know? I mean, these people are from all over the world, great perspectives. Anything else you want to share with them?
I think that with health or with anything else, whether it's financial, physical, mental, emotional, social. It's really, there's this point in your journey as a human when you just kind of get tired of talking about it and you want to be about it. And I would say, I would encourage anyone who's listening, whether it's for you or someone you love or your entire company for your enterprise, it's consider what introducing complementary and alternative medical care would do for your family, would do for your loved ones. And come check out Kenshō. We make it really easy with concierge level support, truly human. Imagine having an informed friend who had all of the answers when you feel stuck when it comes to your health and you wanted to say, just tell me what might work. Please just point me in the right direction. Just tell me which healthcare provider to work for and work with, in the same way that you do with your primary care provider, referring you out to an osteopath or a radiologist. We make it just as easy. And just consider take better care of yourself. You don't get more than one life. And living any part of it in such a way where you feel less than amazing is not something you deserve. You deserve to feel great. And there are solutions for everything. So
I love that. I love that. You have one life, take care of it and make the most of it. And you have to, there's so much talking. It's like, let's make some actions happen. And I am guilty of that as anyone else. So I'm very much looking forward to checking out Kenshō further. Thank you so much, Krista. Really appreciate the time. For everyone else, as always, please look at the link below. You'll have a full Q&A with Krista. She'll talk all about her background moving from financial services into health tech and where Kenshō is going from here. All right. Thank you, my dear. Until next time, for all of you, see you again.